What's up, everyone? Bryan from Xact IT Solutions coming at you with another cybersecurity video. Today we're going to talk about Philabundance. It's a hunger relief charity based here in Philadelphia, and they just got whacked for just under $1 million. We're going to talk about how that happened and what you can learn from this attack in this video today. But before we get into that content, please remember to like our video if you see anything in here that you are enlightened by, we teach you anything, or we entertain you in any way. We'd love for you to hit that like button. It helps us out on the Google. And if you're so inclined, subscribe to our channel. We put out a lot of content, a lot of fresh content, a lot of content that isn't covered in the mainstream media and people in the tech space are not talking about yet. We like to think that we come to the internet and YouTube with it pretty close to first, and we get the word out about cybersecurity. So when we do post a video, if you hit subscribe, you will get notified when we do so. So without further ado, let's jump into today's content. All right, so Philly-based Philabundance, which provides food to the needy, was hit with a $1 million cyber attack. And basically, as the article goes on to say, the Philadelphia region's largest hunger relief group was nearing completion of a $12 million Philabundance community kitchen in July when the nonprofit's finance office wired $923,533 to pay a construction bill. At least, and then it goes on to say, at least employees thought they did. And then weeks later, they realized it was sent to a fraudulent account. Lori Jones, who took over in June as Philabundance chief executive, said on Monday, and Philabundance, which during the pandemic is seeing a greater need for its services than ever before, was a victim of an elaborate and large cyber theft. I guess large in terms of dollar amount, yes. Elaborate, that's up for debate. Let's see. Goes on to say that sometime in the spring, now mind you, this happened in July. It is December 1st. It is nearly 6 months since this event happened. As I say on this channel, cyber criminals do not care who they target. They will target hospitals. They will target charities. They will target bankrupt companies like Kmart. They will target your business. They do not care. So remember that. They also will do things like they're doing here to Philabundance that cause major problems. And they don't care what the dollar amount is. If it's $10,000 or $900,000, it doesn't matter. They're going to figure out what they can get from you based on the size of your organization. Obviously, if Philabundance is building a $12 million building, they have a lot of money to play with. And these guys knew this once they took control of the account. So they got in through a phishing scheme. And we talk about that all the time on this channel. Phishing schemes, knowing what you're clicking on, understanding what you're clicking on, making sure you're evaluating the email before you click on it, or before you open an attachment, or before you go to a website and type in information. And then they were able to access the computer systems and or email. It doesn't specifically say. And then they put in controls that block legitimate emails from getting through. And then the final step was spoofing an email from a vendor to make it look like an invoice from a construction company. So basically, what I can tell you happened here, and what we've seen in attacks on other companies, and I'm not saying that that's what happened here, but I can read between the lines and pretty much give you a pretty damn good guess of what happened here. And that is, somebody got access to somebody's Outlook webmail. They logged into their Office 365 through the web, and they started going through these emails. Now, maybe they got control of one account and one really important account. Maybe it was the controller or the CFO, or maybe they got control of multiple accounts, or maybe they got control of somebody who was a project manager or a buyer for Philabundance or for the construction company that was responsible for the Philabundance construction project. Who knows? But they got access to somebody's webmail somehow, some way. Chances are they probably didn't get access to an actual computer at Philabundance and like access somebody's Outlook. They probably were able to access the email over the internet through Outlook webmail, like in this case, or Gmail or Google or what have you. It doesn't really matter what the service is. They all pretty much operate the same way. The second thing that they did is once they got in there, they basically set up mail rules to say anything from this email, put it either in this folder, delete it, permanently delete it, forward it here first, and then delete it. And then I guess they were able to maybe figure out information based on the emails that they were redirecting. So if a construction company sent, 4 invoices that totaled maybe close to 900,000, these guys probably thought to themselves, okay, the emails, we redirected emails. We know we got 4 invoices for about 900,000. Let's send them an email for an invoice for all this work, but tell them to send it to this account instead. So what they did is they created a spoofed email for the company that was actually invoicing Philabundance. They took that spoofed email address, they sent an email to the Philabundance people, to the right people that needed to get the email. When they received the email, they open up the invoice, they see it's from construction company XYZ. The from address says it's from construction company XYZ. It must be legitimate. Here's new wire information or whatever, or what have you. Just wire the money to this new bank account and send us $900,000. And that's exactly what happened here. Philabundance was tricked. Their people were tricked. I wouldn't go as far as considering this a sophisticated cyber attack. Quite frankly, a 14-year-old could pull this off. There's nothing sophisticated about getting control over somebody's email because they use poor password practices. They use similar passwords that you can find on the dark web. They don't use a password manager. And more importantly, they don't have two-factor turned on in their email. So if somebody logs into their webmail or somebody logs into their Outlook or for the first time and sets up an Outlook account, they should be two-factor. They should be prompted to authorize that they are who they are by a device, by having their cell phone in their hand with an authenticator app and not having a text message sent to them, because that's old school. Authenticator app or some other way of verifying that you are the person logging into it and you are legitimately that person is how you prevent things like this from happening. Having MFA enabled on your email accounts should be a standard practice in every single business that's out there. It's too easy to guess somebody's username and password on these email services and get into their email and take control of them and do things like this. We see this often in the real estate business. There's tons and tons of transactions going on between title companies and mortgage brokers and real estate agents. And real estate agents, you really need to shore up your cybersecurity because you're the weakest link in that chain, quite frankly, from what we've seen. And it's too easy for somebody to spoof a real estate agent's email, go into their email and send it off to the title company or the mortgage company and say, hey, wire the funds for this particular transaction to this bank account. And if nobody does their due diligence and that email actually went through the right people, there's a very good chance that the money for your real estate transaction that maybe the title company is holding moves it to somewhere else that it shouldn't go, and now your whole transaction is blown up because the money that you gave to the title company or the mortgage company to handle on your behalf now just went halfway around the world to some criminal actor, or went to some 14-year-old in his mom's basement who was able to just log into someone's email and trick somebody. So, that's what happened over at Philabundance. It happened in July. Their emails got hijacked, and then a vendor's email got spoofed, which ended in the company sending a heck of a lot of money to people that didn't deserve it. And quite frankly, this is one of the more common cyber attacks. I would call them scams, quite frankly, that we see out there, is that people don't understand that you can do things like put two-factor on your email. So somebody can't, from halfway around the world, or just somebody who shouldn't be getting into your email, can't log in unless they have a phone in their hand that has your Google 6-digit Google Authenticator number, or however you have it set up. That's really important that you start doing this stuff, guys, because hackers and criminal actors are getting smarter and smarter. Obviously, for them to, the other important thing for the Philabundance issue is they had to be in there for a pretty decent amount of time to figure out, like, how can we make money off this? How can we scam them? And they were able to be in that email account long enough to figure all this out. I'm going to venture to say they were probably in there for months to figure this out. How do you know today that somebody's not logging into your email once, 2, 3, 4 times a day to check things out because they're planning on scamming you down the road? It's a question you need to ask yourself. Drop it in the comments below if you have some ideas, or you want to share what you're doing to protect your email. Love to hear from you. Drop them in the comments. That's it for today, folks. I hope you liked the video. Please give us a thumbs up if you did. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and also hit us up on our website if you want to work with us on cybersecurity issues that you might be having in your business. If you want somebody to just look at your system and tell you where you stand today in terms of all this hacking and cyber criminal activity that's going on, or is your business protected well enough? Do you have the proper things in place to make sure that you don't end up in one of my videos? Head over to our website, xitx.com. Click on the Contact Us button. Someone from my team will reach out to you and discuss whatever's on your mind regarding cybersecurity or just IT in general. So I'll see you on the other side, folks. Have a good night. Take care.